morning YouTube and the internet. We're back with the dirty old Falcon. She's just about to tick over 150,000 Ks, so what I'm going to do is service the transmission. So this is the transmission filter kit. It's just a filter and a seal. And this is the recommended oil from the factory service manual. It doesn't tell you the type like Dextron DX3 or anything like that. It specifically says it's brand and type. So that's for the 4-speed autos that come in the Falcons. If you've got the 6-speed, it could be a different oil. Almost certainly going to be a different oil because they're out of the BMW, so they'll be made to a different specification. It's a simple enough job. First step is to climb under there and try and undo the refill plug. If you can't undo the refill plug, you don't want to drain the oil because then you've got no way to get it back in. So that's step one. So on the driver's side, or the right hand side of the car as you're facing the direction of travel, at the back of the transmission up here, which you may not be able to see, up here is a 16mm drain plug. This is the biggest ratchet that I can fit between the chassis rail and the plug. Now, I've heard of a lot of people rounding these off, but I've heard of people saying they're 17. 16mm sockets are not common, so that might be why they round them off. Oh, that was tight. Not anymore, it's not. So we know now that we can refill the transmission. So I'll just leave that cracked and we'll proceed with dropping the oil out. So for that, we've got a stack of 10 mil. I'll tell you in a sec. So there's no drain plug for these transmissions. These are lifetime oil transmissions, so there's no filler plug, dipstick or anything like that. Because it's done 150,000 Ks and I tow with it a lot, the transmission gets worked harder than a normal car that doesn't tow. So that's why I'm doing it. You shouldn't need to do it if you're just puttering around town all the time, but if you do decide to do it, then this is the way. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bolts, and because there's no drain, we'll just start at one end. I forgot to mention these are 10mm with our pan underneath, and work our way back from one end, and it will eventually just start leaking effectively. So you'll need quite a large pan. It's not going to be a directed oil flow at all. It's going to go all over the place. The reason we start at one end is so we can open one end of the transmission and at least try and catch the oil. So if we release this end, hopefully we can drain most of it out without spilling too much. Oh, it's starting to get a leak. Oh, it's leaking at this end. Quick, do it back up. Oh, now it's leaking there. So I guess I'm at the wrong end of the car. Oh, we were pretty level with a slight lean back, but the ramps might have lifted it up too high.
We're leaking out the back.
Leaking out the back as well?
Yeah.
Alright. Here we go. Should be wearing gloves for this. So we're getting like a controlled leak like this as much as we can control it, and let it release it. Now the service manual says from draining a lot of this you should lose 3.8 litres. so I'm assuming I'm going to get 3.8 litres. So we'll just let that leak out like that for a while, and then we'll undo it some more. We'll get some more come out, and then we'll deal with getting the pan off itself later, which will also be holding some. Alright, so I've gotten these 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts out, and we're losing a bit too much of this out the back, so I'm going to pry it and then try and entice more of it to come out the front. There we go. I'd recommend a bigger oil pan next time, although there shouldn't be a next time because it's lifetime transmission fluid. Okay, most of it seems to be coming out. Let's get another couple of bolts out. Doesn't seem to be any oil coming out the front anymore. I guess I'll be degreasing the driveway tonight. Oh shit, that would have been devastating. There's a hole in the top of that if that rolled in there. Just trying to avoid getting the oil on my ratchet. I'm doing it by hand, but I can't. I need another rag. So now there's only one bolt holding it up. Oh no, it's shot. Definitely a glove job. Here we go. Just putting it in the centre. Drop the bolt there and then try and control where this all goes. Oh no. Well, I think some of that ended up in the pan. Okay. We're going to need more rags. So, learn from my mistakes. Get a bigger pan. Wear some gloves. That was pretty messy and didn't need to be. But we got the cover off. This is it down here. There's a little bit of oil still in there. The light's not great out here. Kids getting over to cast, but it's not too bad. Colour's not too bad. The pan's not full of debris. These here are just magnets, and I'd expect this, you know, ground metal paste on pretty much any gearbox, so that's not too bad. They're about the same. So that's just debris and wear from the internal components, which they will wear over time. 150,000 Ks, it's pretty good, assuming it's never been done. Not too bad. So under the car I've got another one of those pans. So they're side by side now under that gearbox, under that transmission, allowing it to drip. It's going to keep dripping for a while. So yeah, I've got a bit of a clean up when I'm finished. Worst thing is I've got to lay back in it to put this back up, because I can't move the car now until the job's done. So while we're waiting for the thing to drip free, clean, we just give this a bit of a clean up. Pan, just a bit of solvent. I've already given that a rough clean, and now a bit of wax and grease remover. Anything that's got a residue will do. Don't forget to clean the magnets as well. Magnets just go in these little rings, and the magic of the magnets magically holds them in place. So that is ready to go back on the car, and the rubber gasket that went around there, it's part of the kit, so you throw that in the bin. There's a new one in the thing. So now let's see if we can't get more oil on ourselves and get the filter out of the transmission itself. We're still dripping a little bit, so we'll take this rag and just quickly wipe off some excess oil so I can work in here. Now this piece here, the big bit in the middle, this is the filter itself, and it's just held on with this metal strap. Is it a strap? I suppose it's a strap. So we'll get rid of some of this. This will stop it dripping too much. And we just need a pair of pliers. And we just grab this wire and pull it out. Oh my god! Maybe hold it with your other hand. Don't do that. Oh, at least the filter landed in the thing, so did most of that oil. This is turning into a bloody bloopers highlights reel. So now we need to check up in here is the old seal off the end of the filter here. So this is the filter. Plonk it on that side. I'll try and clean this up a bit so I can show you. You don't want to go rubbing too much because you've got lots of electrical connectors and stuff in here. And if you go rubbing, you might tear something, pull something away where it shouldn't be. So we'll just dab that. So that's the bit of wire in question that holds it in. So let's pop this up in here. Try not to scratch the housing. There we go. Show you that. That's the seal. And now, let's open up our replacement filter kit and stuff and show you what's in there. It's pretty much the stuff you just saw come off. So, cheapest chips, Ryco RTK1 is the part number. The filter looks nothing like the one on the box. Looks exactly like the one we just took out. So here's our replacement seal. Just undo it. Now, take the twist out. The cover is asymmetrical, so on one side we've got two, on the other side we've got one hole, so it can only go one way. And it's asymmetrical this way too, so there's a groove and a proud side. And then here is our filter with the new seal.
There's something in the...
Sorry?
There's something still in the bag.
There's something still in the bag. What is that? Ah, it's an O-ring for the drain plug. So that's all we need to do the swap plus the fluid. So this, we just slam it straight back in, just how we took the other one out. So this is to come off, goes back on. Now with seals like this you want to usually oil them, but there's no shortage of residual oil in that hole, so just push that up into place like so, and that's what I expected the other one to do, to stay there just like that. And now we grab a wire, and over here somewhere is the latch. Oh, there we go. That just bought it some room. Now there we go. Piece of piss. Everything's lined up right. Lovely. Easy as that. Yep, that's seated all the way and everything's seated now. Okay, so we'll just clean up the gasket face a bit. Ready for the new gasket. So here's our gasket. Now we can't go that way, like I said. Turn around. And the groove goes around the crown on the pan, like so. Now again, a little bit of transmission fluid on the sealing face is a good idea, but again, there's lots of transmission fluid up there, so it's not going to be getting dried anytime soon. We'll pump it back into place. So just lift that up into place, get a bolt started. through the bloody seal. There we go. Should be able to hang that from that, and then get one on the other end. Make sure everything's lined up. Okay, now with that in place, I can piss these drums off. Now all these bolts are the same. There's not a special one for any given hole. You just put them in whichever one you need. So what I'm doing is I'm just rotating them to screw them through the seal instead of just forcing them up and pinching it. That's it through. Screw them in. So just do these up gently and not fully tight yet. Bring them up even so the gasket has a chance to flatten out. And not pinch it. Okay, so around the world again, a little bit tighter. These don't need a lot of torque, about that many torques. Oh no, not getting any tighter. There we go. Ow! My elbow. Happy days. Okay, now the real fun bit, putting more oil back in it. So to refill the transmission, you're going to need a bottle, a pump of some description. These are pretty cheap, very handy bits of kit. So this bottle holds 1.5 litres or something. Doesn't say. Sometimes you get really lucky and the universe rewards you. Not today, it would seem. Sometimes these will be the same thread and you can slam them straight onto the bottle. So, not my lucky day. I have to put the thing on this one. Maybe I'll go and buy another one that fits those threads just for that purpose. Now remember, I cracked the filler at the start before I started the job. So if you've cut forward in the video and missed the very start, you want to crack the filler before you start the job, because if you can't crack the filler, you can't put oil back in. There is another way to do it. It takes over an hour, so I'm told. And you're going to feed it back in through the oil cooler lines, the transmission oil cooler lines. Don't forget your spare O-ring. Let's get that bung out and fill her up. So here's our plug, here's our O-ring. We'll be replacing that. And it's simple. It's always simple when you're explaining it instead of doing it. It's sticking your thing in the thing, and then we pump the bottle. So here's the painful bit. spending 20 minutes doing this, although that's pumping pretty quickly. Last time I did this, it was an old pump, it took forever. So, this is our last bottle, hopefully. Basically what we're looking to do is fill it until, can you put the camera up here? Fill it until oil starts running out of here. That's the fill level, is basically the bottom of that hole. So as soon as that happens, I'll stop pumping. Oh, there we go. So we started to get oil out the hole. That is the fill mark. Now where's that plug? Now I have not replaced the O-ring on this plug for a very good reason, because it's got to come out again yet. Oh no, come here. Let's get that in. Oh, fuck's sake. Where's that rag? Sweet. Okay, grab me that 16mm socket, chuck it on a ratchet. So, on the most popular video I could see for this job, this was the step he missed. The rest of it was fine, apart from having to fill the transmission via the transmission cooler lines. So he's replaced exactly what he got out, which is fine, almost certainly. But here's what the manual says to do. Start the car. Turn the radio off before I get a copyright strike. Give it a second. Lift the car, with your handbrake on, foot on the brake, put it in each gear. So you heard the engine note there, it's basically free spun for a second until the transmission fluid pumped up the pressure and goes to the transmission. Back up in the neutral, put off, shut it off, and we climb back under the car now and check that the oil level is still at the plug. If not, we need to put more in because it's just been pumped through the system. So running it forces the oil through the system, basically, so any air or anything should have been taken up by that little process. Shouldn't take a lot. Now I didn't measure how much I got out either, so this is the correct way to do it. Thankfully, despite being on ramps, my driveway's downhill and the car's pretty much level when it's on the ramps. Oh, it's dripped. Ah, yes. A bit just dripped out. Excellent. So the next step, the final step, well, in theory the final step, but it's not really. Let's just call it the next step and not confuse the issue. We put our plug back in. Again, I still haven't changed the O-ring, because what you're going to do now is take the car for a short drive. Make sure that all the gears are engaging. When you do it, you don't take the revs over 3,000. I'm not sure why. It says that in the factory service manual. So, their car, they built it. They probably know why you do that, but I don't. And after that, you do this one more time. So you take it for a short drive, you just let it get up to temperature. It's only a few minutes, and then let it sit for 5 minutes so as the oil drains back, because you don't want it all through everything. And then check that that the oil level is still full. If it's not, you need to add more at that point, but that should be it. And at that point, you change the O-ring on the thing. Now I am out of oil. It's pretty dark, but maybe the shop's still open and I can buy another litre on my test drive. So, just went for a quick test drive. It worked perfectly. Unfortunately, both Ripco and Supercheap are closed, so I can't pick up another litre of oil. I'll just do that in the morning. But basically, that's the job done. Just one more check after it's been run, and then allowed to rest according to the factory service manual. But it drove just fine just now, and I'll do that in the morning. Replace that O-ring, and that's it. So happy days.